Hi guys, welcome back to the homestead. If you're new here, I want to welcome you. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you're notified for new videos when I make them. So today I want to show you the inside of my kitchen that we built. And we put this building first before we built our home was because financially, for one, our house is going to be a little bit larger than this. So we kind of wanted to get out of the cold and cooking outside and wanted to have more of a feeling of having a home type environment. Everybody knows the kitchen is where the family gets together and enjoy meals and things like that. So we thought that this would be a very important building to do first. When we do build our home, we're going to have a kitchen also built into our home, and then I will turn this into my long-term storage pantry and also where we will process our meats, vegetables, and things like that when we can. So I want to give you a little tour and show you what it looks like so far. It's not complete, but we're almost there. So right here is our sink, and we have a normal sink. Even though we do rainwater, we have a pump, and it's going to be kind of loud when I cut it on. But we do have running water. And I'm really hoping this is where when I wash dishes and I set them up here to drain. But I'm hoping once we get our home built, we will be able to turn these shelves and actually take these out and build shelves in this building. Over here is some of our canned goods and things like that. We do try to keep food on hand so that way if something happens with the weather and things like that, we can't get to the store. It's a 40-minute drive. Same thing, what happened in Texas. I'm from South Carolina. We used to have hurricanes and things like that, so I started prepping and having food stocked up so that way we can have food on hand just in case if something happens and we cannot go and purchase items. On this channel, I'm really not going to speak a lot about how we can and things like that. We made a different channel to cover that because I really want this channel to focus on us building our homestead and what we do on the homestead and not combine the two. But my daughter will be doing the channel as far as like what we can and put up in jars and how we store stuff on Mama's grocery haul. And I'll link that down below in the description if you would like to follow that. So we went to town and we picked up some of these leads, which are leak proof and reusable. It's still kind of hard to find leads for canning and things like that. Before all this happened, I luckily started buying the leads for the jars and things like that. So I have a stockpile of them, but I put my dry goods in our beans and our noodles and things like that in jars. And so I really like these leads. They're kind of expensive, but when you convert the price on what we spend with this and on how long we use them versus what we would have to do every time to use the other leads, because I do not reuse my leads. I throw them away and I use new leads each time. I know some people do reuse them, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. So over here I have two shelves and one is very messy, so I apologize. This is where we have a lot of our food items in our kitchen. We have a door, and as you can see back here, it's not completely finished, and we still have to do molding and finish insulation and things like that. We do have TV. This is our counter space. We have a Keurig, we have our blenders, we have our mixers. We have to finish all through here and behind our shelf. We decided to go with a small window. If I had it to go back over with, I would have actually put larger windows in here. And we can always upgrade, later on. But right now, this is what we did. It's cheaper with the smaller windows. And, we'll just go with what we have right now. Up here, you'll see a lot of cords, drop cords, the outlets. This is our bathroom in here. That's our propane heater. Now, last year we did try to heat in here with a wood stove, but because it's not insulated, we just had a really hard time keeping it warm. So this year we went with the propane heater, and it's been a lot better. When we build our home, now we will have a wood stove, and that's how we will heat. We have plenty of trees here. We have 52 acres, so that's the way we will be. So we're having hamburgers tonight because my grandson turned 4 years old, and he wanted hamburgers for his birthday dinner. We don't do the traditional birthdays and things like that, where we invite a lot of people because we're away from our family. So what I've done for many years with my family, if it's your birthday, you can choose anything you want to eat, and I'll cook that for your meal. And we have a cake, and they quite enjoy it. They can pick out some funny things and a whole bunch of things all at one time for me to make. But guys, it's very comfy in here. Even with it not being completely insulated and things like that, it's almost like a normal house. With the running water finally, we didn't have that last year. That was something that we did this year, which has been great. Our propane heat is not how we want to be, but for right now, just to keep us warm, especially with the weather, you just don't never know. This year it would have been rough trying to stay warm in here, with the wood stove being, it wasn't insulated and the top wasn't closed in, and it had a lot of draft. So we're slowly progressing with here on the homestead. So as far as our electricity, some may say, well, how do you have a normal fridge and we have a freezer and lights and TV? We do run generators, and if you've seen some of my posts before, I've mentioned our generators. We have two, and we change them every 24 hours so that way they can have a break. It is very expensive to do it that way, but when we originally moved here, the power lines were only about 3,000 foot up the road from us. It's not very far at all. And public water is not even, it's probably 1/10 of a mile from us. But I cannot find anybody that services our area with water. So we tried to have a well dug, and they came out here, and when they took them all day and they tried to dig us a well, but it continuously tried to cave in on them. And whenever they were putting down the casings to the well, it just wouldn't take. It just continuously caved in and even crushed one of the casings that went into the well. So they did leave it up there as a test well, but we do the rainwater. We have our rainwater catchment. We have 3 tanks at 275 gallons. And our plan is to buy the 1,500 gallon tank, 2 of those, and have that hooked up, because we really enjoy the rainwater a lot better than the water with a lot of chemicals and chlorine and things like that. Your skin feels so much better when you use rainwater. As far as filtering the water for drinking and cooking, we filter our water, but we still don't drink the water. We buy our bottled water, but this year I'm going to be investing into the Berkeley water filter system, and when we hook up our big tanks, we're going to add the filter system to that, and that way we can actually have that for drinking water and cooking and things like that. We heat with propane for our hot water. So, I mean, really we live in comfort here. I mean, it does get a little bit hard when we have freezing and things like that, and our water freezes or our pipes freeze, and we just have to wait. We take sponge baths, but we are really working toward being as self-sufficient as possible, and really just trying to, I don't know, just become more like in the older days. You know, we want to raise our animals, we want to do gardens, but we have to just make the infrastructure here first, tackle that, and then we'll move. I just don't want to move so quick and fast to where I'm going to regret it and it's going to be too much to handle, and then I want to give up, because sometimes it's a struggle now. You know, there's so many times I can't tell you how many times I just wanted to give up because it's really hard. But my family supports me, and I'm just going for it, and eventually I know that we'll get to where we need to be. Anyway, I wanted to give you a little bit of the tour inside of our kitchen. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like this content, please give me a thumbs up. And leave comments below. I would like to know how you're doing on your homestead and how you are progressing with your homestead.